What's up, everybody? It's Matt from SnakeHerder.com here. I figured today it's feeding day and it'd be a great opportunity to do a feeding video. I've had quite a few requests for that. And I also thought as long as I'm doing a feeding video, I'd throw on my Reptile Rapture t-shirt and make him my unofficial sponsor for the video, since I buy all my feeder rodents from Richard out at Reptile Rapture. So another, as always, big thank you to my friends at Reptile Rapture. That's reptilerapture.net and his YouTube channel, The Rapture Zone. All kinds of cool stuff that I don't sell and that I don't breed, and also some of the stuff I do too, but we trade stuff back and forth so much. We've got a really good working relationship with them. So as always, I never hesitate to send people his way. Reptile Rapture, if you live in the Madison area, Wisconsin, you just can't beat it for a reptile-only pet store. So anyway, we're going to talk about feeding frozen thawed rodents. Now, as far as feeding live goes, I have no moral objections to that. I think it would be pretty hypocritical. I'm a person who hunts and fishes and eats wild game, and I'm a firm believer in the circle of life. I don't much care for rats. That has nothing to do with why I keep pythons. I keep pythons because I love pythons. I don't enjoy seeing rodents hurt. I use live feeders for my baby snakes because it's the best way to get them started, and once they're eaten a few times, I try to switch them over to frozen thawed, because frozen rodents don't bite your snakes. You keep them in the freezer, they don't stink as bad. There's a million good reasons to feed frozen thawed. So I love having a chest freezer full of rodents all the time. If I want to feed some snakes, I can feed some snakes anytime I want, and I don't have to keep rats. So anyway, I see a lot of people doing a few things that I don't want to say are wrong, but just that I don't care for when it comes to feeding frozen thawed. Now, I like to thaw all my rodents out at room temperature overnight. If I'm going to feed in the morning, I take them out the night before. If I'm going to feed in the evening, I take them out in the morning, and then that evening they're all thawed out. And I just need to elevate the temperature enough so that they're warmer than air temperature. I get way more strikes that way. Some snakes will eat them when they're just room temperature, but I have plenty of them that, for one thing, you just can't seem to hone in on them, and it's a good way to get bit. If you're warmer than the feeder rodent, they're going to go after you. They smell the rodent and they see the heat of your hand. So another good reason to get yourself some of these nice big long feeding tongs. Just can't live without these. I used to use some little like 10-inch ones, and man, was I dodging snakes constantly. And people who hold them by the tail, more power to you, but you ain't gonna see me doing that. It just seems like it's a guaranteed way to get bit for me. So anyway, how do I elevate their temperature? Some people use a heat lamp. I like to use warm water. Now, when I say warm water, I've seen some videos where people have some feeder rodents that just get ripped apart when the snakes attack them. How that happens is when you thaw them in scalding hot water. If you put your rodents, your feeder rodents, especially if they're still frozen, in really hot water, and you keep doing that till they're thawed, they get really soft. I'm not a big fan of cleaning up snake or rat guts off my snakes, so I don't like to do that. I put them in water that I like to think of as like coffee that you could drink. It should be, 100 to 110 degrees, like hot tub kind of water. It shouldn't be so hot you can't put your hand in it and hold it there. But water cools down so fast that it has to be warm enough. So I use what I think was like good hot bathtub kind of water. Now, if you only got a few snakes, put them in a small container, or put some water in a small container and get another smaller container than that. You put them, double bag them in a Ziploc, put them in that water, and put the other container on that keeps them submerged. They get nice and warm. It takes 5 minutes and you're ready to feed. If you got dozens of snakes, you get yourself one of these. Take a 5-gallon bucket, and I put about 1.5 gallons of water in, and then I take the remaining ½ gallon and I set it on top of my bags of rodents. So I've got some big old bags full of feeder rats, and unfortunately that bag leaked, so all my rats are all wet and gross. That's why I always say double bag them. Not a big deal here because I'm not in my house, I'm out in my snake building, so if I drip a little bit of rat water on the floor, I'm not going to cry about it. So anyway, these guys have been in here about 5 minutes. They should be warmer than room temperature, but not scalding hot. You don't want to feed your snakes cooked rodents. So here's a kind of gross little thawed out rat. And I might get some snakes turn them down actually, because I think I'm real close, if not have just passed a few ovulations. So let's see how this girl does. She's actually a picky feeder too, but let's see. If I pick the worst possible snake to start with. She's all wound up. Alright, we're going to skip her. But And here's another one that I think was actually really close to ovulating, and she may have actually in the last couple of days. So she won't eat if she did. Oh, she took it. So here we go, that's our het caramel. She just grabbed a rat. I just moved my cards over. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of them here, but you know, you get the picture. It's not that difficult. How about the pinstripe girl? She's always a good eater. There we go. Give them a little twitch sometimes, and that'll get them to keep a hold of them. Sometimes if they let them lay, after a couple hours, go and pick them up again and shake them, and they'll take them again, and sometimes they eat them for whatever reason. I've got a great big old rat in here for my female Borneo. Oh, that's actually double bagged. It's going to be a big fat mess to get into, but hey, I'm not doing this to be clean, right? So let's get this big gross rat out of here. Let's see if she's hungry. There we go. Bada bing. So that's about all there is to it. It's really easy. To me, I think the big key is get them warmer than air temperature, but not hot, not cooked. Again, perfect example here is why I usually double bag everything. It's because Ziploc bags leak, they get full of water, and then your rats are drippy and gross, and it's not quite so pretty as it was right here. So double bag them, put them in some warm water, not hot water, get them warmed up, hold them in there, give them a twitch, stay out of the line of sight. Especially, you know, it's funny, these big long ones work really good for hatchlings because I can stand 2 feet away, and snakes that are a little bit jumpy yet, they'll go for it. That's about all there is to it. As far as feeding live goes, you put them in the container with them and don't leave them too long. Keep an eye on them. You'll never see me put a video on YouTube of a snake killing a rat. I know it happens and it's got to happen, and it doesn't really bother me, but I have no interest in glamorizing that aspect of it. I keep snakes because I love snakes, not because I hate rats. So anyway, I hope that I touched on a few things that people have had questions about. And if you want to go to SnakeHerder.com, there's an article in the FAQs about live versus frozen thawed, and also the use of feeding enclosures versus feeding in their home enclosures. As you can see, I feed my snakes in their home enclosures because that's where they're the most comfortable, that's where they're most likely to eat. And I think anytime you take a snake out and move it back during feeding time, that's a recipe for snake bites. These snakes, when they all get done eating, if I come in the room, they all start whacking at the front of the cages sometimes because they still want, you know, they'll eat food as long as it's available. They still smell food. They see me and I'm warm, so I don't touch them on feeding day. I give them a good day afterwards. So that's all there is to it. I'm going to go through and I'm going to give the rest of these snakes all their rats. And I don't think that you probably care to watch all that. So this is, hopefully you learned something, and if what you're doing isn't what I'm doing and it works, more power to you. Keep going. Again, thanks to Reptile Rapture. They're, as always, good guys, good friends, and great selection, and get you your rodents there, and they're always nice and clean and in bags and easy to count. I've never had a bad rodent come from there. So thanks again to them, thanks again to you, and keep checking SnakeHerder.com because eggs are going to start hitting the cage floors here really soon. All right, thanks a lot.